I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go! I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man.
Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG. I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? MCR family? I hope everyone's having a great day on this Saturday edition of the show. I know we didn't have a show yesterday, so I thought, hey, since there's a ton of news that we have to discuss, a ton of topics we have to debate, I thought, why not do a Saturday show before all the fights tonight? I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, listen on podcast form, drop that 5-star review, head over to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. If listening live, call in 323-870-4051. Listening internationally, call in via Skype at Mixed Combat Radio. But of course, like the title says, Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller looks to be all but done, and we look to have a Monday announcement. So just in about 48 hours, it seems we should have a final announcement, press release, all that good information we need to say this fight is official. So I think it's sort of safe to say that this fight is, air quote, done deal. And plus, we have a lot more to get to. Lomachenko, his next fight is looking less and less likely, obviously, like Richard Commey due to that injury, and Anthony Crolla likely stepping in as the mandatory. Plus, Top Rank and boxing budgets have been sort of released in a way via the Max Kellerman new boxing show on ESPN. We're going to dive into those numbers and a ton of more topics into Marcos Maidana returning, allegedly. Just a lot of information to dissect, debate, plus the WBA article that Keith Hidek put out. I definitely want to delve into that because that was a fantastic article by Keith Hidek. But a lot of news, a lot of topics to get to. Like I said, stay around, hit the like button, share the show. But of course, I'm joined by the always illustrious Mr. Robbie Hearns himself, second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, how you doing today?
All good. Hope everybody tuning in, enjoying their Saturday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Yeah, looks like we could get the first announcement in this whole heavyweight saga, or whatever you want to call it. You know, someone's cracked first and is gonna announce it, and then I guess all the other dominoes will fall, and we'll get finally some dates to look forward to and put on the calendar and count down 9 weeks to go, 8 weeks to go, and all that. So yeah, start to get a little bit more hyped, and hopefully we can start talking some fights and not all business and he said, she said, and back and forth, this, that, and the other. So yeah, also, yeah, Richard Commey with his injury. You know, I might have jinxed it on the last show we spoke about it. You know, so I don't want to wish that his knuckles are broken, but and then looks like it maybe got broken knuckles. So my bad. Sorry, everyone who was looking forward to a unification bout.
Yeah, I was. You kind of ruined the entire fight. Thanks, Rob. You jinxed it.
It's all right. Something to look forward to in the future. You know. Crolla versus Commey. But what else have we got? Yeah, I can't remember. Let's just we can get straight into it, Matt. And
let's get straight into it because we do have some. Also, we do have some more financial information for alleged financial information for the big baby AJ fight, which we're going to delve into again because I feel like people are upset at me for saying that they're alleged numbers, and I don't know. I got a lot of hate in the last show. You guys in the UK, man, you guys ride for yours. I will give you that.
Best fans in the world.
You guys are definitely not fickle. That is true. You guys are definitely not fickle. By digressing from that, Mike Coppinger saying sources Anthony Joshua's U.S. debut, a heavyweight title defense against Jarrell Big Bay Miller, will take place June 1st. June 8th was also considered. The fight is expected to be announced Monday. Will be streamed on DAZN and take place at New York's MSG. Basically everything that we knew of, right? It's just confirming basically what we know. Hopefully the Monday announcement is, again, just a reaffirmation of what Mike Coppinger is reporting. I know Dan Rayfield came out later, and again, Mike and Dan had the little petty moments. I'm not going to go into that again, but it is hilarious. Rob, I mean, do we really need to delve into this breaking news in any way? I mean, I feel like it's just, yes, this is information we know. We look like the announcement is coming in the next 48 hours. You know, that's a good thing. Hopefully we get some resolution to the last couple months. And I can't wait for this fight, honestly. Like I've always been high on this matchup in particular, more so than a Big Baby Wilder matchup per se, right? Like a year ago. I was always much more interested in a Joshua Big Baby fight. I felt like those two, that dynamic between them just felt perfect. Same way with like Wilder, Dylan White. Like that matchup just seems perfect in my mind. Like why is that not happening? But this one's getting made. I'm happy. I can't wait to see the press conferences. Rob, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think maybe some of your interest in it being Joshua rather than Miller and Wilder is maybe, you know, it's Joshua coming over to the States. There's an element to it that's a bit, you know, it's got a little extra to it, you know, like Joshua's making his US debut or something like that. If it would have been,
if this fight was in like Wembley or the O2, it would feel different. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and if it was Miller Wilder, it would just be, you know, another sort of Wilder event in, you know, a Showtime fight, whatever, on US soil, on US TV. It wouldn't have been sort of necessarily so much out of the ordinary. But this is, you know, Joshua coming over and making his debut, just like if, I guess, although Wilder has fought here before, I guess, but in a big fight, maybe that would also be some kind of like, oh, you know, wonder what Wilder will do over there, you know, how he'll receive it all. So, yeah, it's like you said, it's kind of backing up everything that it's been leading to, that we've had reports on, for, you know, from Dan Rayfield being a thief and things like that. No, Coppinger with his thinking emoji and that today, that was good. Sorry, Matt. He's not listening, don't we?
Dan's definitely not listening to this show. Mike's at least friendly. Like every time I've talked to Mike in person, he's always been very friendly. So
yeah, and
I doubt he listens, but he's a friendly guy. I'll give him that.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure he don't listen, but
Dan's not friendly. Dan's a not friendly guy in person at all.
No, he's got, you know, his own demons. It's all good. But yeah, he's yeah, this is just, you know, it's just the only little bit of extra is that we're hearing, like sources or whatever. It's announcement on Monday maybe. So I don't know how they're going to do that. Is it just going to be like a social media release and like press, or is it going to be like instant press conference and stuff like that? Who knows? But I'm sure something will be scheduled and we'll hear more. But yeah, look forward to it.
Let's quickly go to these figures, the alleged figures per Metro, which is, again, another tabloid, just like Daily Star. So, again, put that in a skeptical bracket. I think these numbers will change as we get closer to fight night. I'm not saying these numbers total aren't possible, but maybe we see a guarantee of, let's say, 15 million pounds. But on the upside of that, AJ is going to make 20, 25, 30 million pounds total. I could see a similar situation in that case. But Metro reporting that Anthony Joshua is set to make 19.3 million pounds. On top of that, Jarrell Miller is set to make, let me go back to the exact figure. It's 5.41 million pounds for this fight. That is a extremely high number if this is true. That's why I ultimately am a little bit skeptical of this report, more so than the other one. Even though the other one's much higher for AJ, this one's really high for Jarrell Miller in a way that just doesn't seem likely, if that makes sense. Not to sort of throw shade on Big Baby, because not what I'm intending. But if Dylan White wasn't getting this amount or getting more than this amount, Big Baby's getting that. It just seems odd to me. But Rob, your thoughts on this report that Big Baby set to make 5.4 million pounds and AJ about 19.3, around 20 million pounds.
Yeah, I mean, like we sort of said on the show before, it's reports coming from sort of tabloids or whether sources are reputable, whether they've got inside information or what. They never actually stated, insiders are telling us this or that. But I guess some of it's maybe educated guesses or some kind of equation that they're going by, but it's going to be in this area. I think maybe this 20 that Metro are reporting is like the initial purse, and then obviously you're going to have Sky Sports pay-per-view on top of that and things like that. So the 25-30, I guess it's also possible, but this kind of thing, it's not like over there you guys put out the initial purses. I know we hear that American fighters also pick up that kind of back end sort of check kind of additional payment on top of the reported purses that we usually get from, is it the Athletic State Commission and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not really concerned about how much Joshua's actually earning.
He's making a lot no matter what. like you know what I mean? Like there's no doubt he's making a lot of money. Same with Big Baby. I think Big Baby's gonna make a lot of money regardless as well. I don't know if it's gonna be this high, but it's definitely gonna make a lot of money.
I mean, I've seen reports of it being like $7 million, or if that's around the 5 point whatever pounds. I wonder if there is an element of truth that they tried Wilder, they've tried Fury, they tried White, and this was a case of, did Miller say, nah, you're scratching around looking for a fight. If you want me to fight, pay me accordingly. Why is this guy getting offered that? I want this as well. Whether he kind of played a little bit of hardball and the pressure was on for Joshua to have an opponent announced as soon as possible. So it's quite possible, but it does seem, like you said, it does seem a little high in my opinion. But reports were the last offer that Dillian White turned down was like 7 or something ridiculous like that. So, I can believe it if they were a little bit pressured into getting an actual fight made, because June's going to be strange for, I think, like sort of Joshua fighting, because it's usually like an April date and then we get like an October, but June's pushing it to see him fight again sort of in 2019 possibly, depending how this fight goes and everything like that. So who knows? We'll see. But yeah, let's get past the money thing. Like I say, I'm not worried about what's in Joshua's pockets, just like I'm not anyone else's pockets, really. It's I think the argument, whenever we've been discussing it, it's this: who deserves what percentage, what's a fair split. But when it's just purses being spoke of, it's like, right, fine, you're earning what you're earning. It doesn't necessarily bother me what it is, but it's more the splits when the arguments for me come in, like what does someone deserve over someone else. But whatever, we can make
we're gonna get hate regardless, Rob, that. Yesterday I was a Matchroom Eddie hater. Now we're Matchroom channel. God knows what happens, man. People are I don't know, man. Fans are weird, listeners are weird. But digress and moving the fuck on from those weirdos. Lance Pugmire reporting, just told by Lou DiBello that Richard Commey can't fight Vasiliy Lomachenko April 12th, Staples Center, as planned due to the knuckle injury. Obviously, this is now basically setting up the fight with Anthony Crolla, who is the mandatory at this point. Eddie Hearn coming out saying that that's really the only option for them. Rob, I'm going to go to you first, because I know you are ultimately, as you're eating right now, I don't know what you're eating, sunflower seeds?
Some popcorn.
Is that popcorn?
It's great. It's a great show. I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying the show.
Thanks, Rob. Real professional there. I want to go to you first, because you obviously are very, very big on not big, but you are hyped on this matchup. It's Anthony Crolla. You know, he's a guy that you've liked, and I like. I mean, Anthony Crolla's a fantastic person. Great story in a way. Put on some really good fights. Honestly, I think the Linares sort of double fights were really entertaining, especially the first one. But I, of course, have always stated that I think Anthony Crolla is a very easy matchup for Lomachenko. I'm not too interested in this fight, though I obviously see that it has to happen. Rob, though you probably are more high on it, I'll go to you. Your thoughts on first Richard Commey being injured, out of this unification, and now Anthony Crolla stepping up as the mandatory.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy that Commey come through what looked like, a blistering, easy, got it done nice and early, which meant he had a bunch of time for making this April date. He wasn't in a war or anything like that, but, turns out he picked up the injury, and it's enough to, make the date not available for him. So, yeah, then reports come out that apparently Luke Campbell was being considered and things like that. But then Eddie Hearn popped up and said, no, per WBA ruling, if the Commey fight wasn't happening, it would have to be the Crolla mandatory for Loma. So going into that, since all the news broke, I've seen so much, I don't know, like just ridiculous tweets and stuff like that, like, oh, Campbell and Crolla are absolute no-hopers. What was it? I can't believe Eddie Hearn is forcing his fighter to do this. And it's like, what? It's, if anyone knows anything about fighters, I think they all want to reach the top. They all want to try and pit themselves against the best. And Crolla didn't have to take the WBA eliminator. He doesn't have to take this fight. But guess what? I'm pretty 100% sure.
Well, it's also a paycheck. I mean,
I don't know, but
it, of course, it doesn't have to. But it's the biggest fight in the division with the biggest check. I think anyone right now at 135, because Mikey's not in the division, is looking at Loma as sort of the golden goose right now in terms of paycheck. Like Anthony Crolla probably not. He might not make over $1 million, but he's probably gonna make close to that. In my opinion, he's gonna make a good salary for this.
Well, I think this is going to be. This is going to be a purse bid. Eddie Hearn, regardless, is going to tell Crolla not to make a deal. He's going to go to a purse bid on this. So
because they probably want on DAZN. That's why.
Well, yeah, I think Eddie's going to go big, but ESPN are going to go big because they don't want
Loma
fighting on DAZN. So I think Crolla's in a very good position right now.
You're right about that. I didn't even think about them really trying to stick their heels in Eddie Hearn DAZN Matchroom and trying to put this fight on a Matchroom brand, so to speak. That purse bid is going to be high. Like if Hooker Salcedo is any indicator, like it is Vasiliy Lomachenko. It is the second biggest commodity in the top ranked stable right now. They're going to go insane on in terms of the purse bid. We're going to talk about their budget later, but they have a pretty big budget from the looks of it now. That they can do a lot. It's gonna be interesting to see that. Any other thoughts on Crolla? Because again, it's a mandatory fight. Like I'm not gonna hate it. It is what it is. All mandatories are created different. They're not created equal. This isn't a Spence Ocampo level of mandatory where it's just like so egregious and so obvious. But it is clearly still an obvious, I think, fight as to who will win this. But it's also just an indicator of the levels of Lomachenko right now. Like at 135, you got Mikey, who's not there, but if he's there, that's a 50-50 fight. Richard Commey is a tough fight for Lomachenko. Maybe Teofimo in another 18 months, a year from now. Maybe Devin Haney 3-4 years from now. Right now, there's really nothing there for Loma. So, yeah, Crolla, he can have the shot. Why not? I'm not going to be mad about it.
That's good of you. That's good of you.
What?
He can have it.
Yeah, he can have it. I'm not going to be mad. Like, people want to be mad about things all the time.
Bringing up Teofimo, I've seen so many, saying, forget Crolla, forget this.
Oh, no,
throw Teofimo in there. That makes it a 50-50. Loma's not seen anything like Teofimo. I'm like, pump the fucking brakes.
Look, I think Teofimo will be a 50-50 fight again in 18 months, in 2 years from now, right? Like when he has a couple more fights under his belt. And also, like, people want to throw prospects in the deep end rather quickly. Like Shakur Stevenson, he's about to be thrown in there with Christopher Diaz, and then after that, looks like a Josh Warrington, in my opinion, or Oscar Valdez, one of those two. That I think is too much of a jump from a Christopher Diaz to one of those. Look at Lubin. Look at the jump he had from a Jorge Cota to a Jamel Charlo. Like, if you have too far of a jump in competition level, even if you're a great prospect, a great athletic talent, you're going to have struggles. You're going to have, your flaws are going to be exposed at a much more rapid rate with higher competition and a exponentially higher competition at that. But yeah, like I said, Loma, Crolla seems likely. And also, I'm just going to quickly go back to the thumbnail because I think that could be a buddy comedy film. I'm just saying, look at the way they're looking at each other. You know, the natural chemistry there. You put them in a little mini-series comedy show, like a buddy cop film. I'm down for that.
Look at Commey, though. Just, like, you know,
so mad.
The unwanted stepchild on
the
side.
And it was funny because I was trying to find a picture of Commey that like showed that he was like upset because he didn't get the fight, obviously. And literally 90% of the pictures that are Commey outside the ring or outside of fighting per se, or like not a non-action shot, are him smiling. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you are way too happy for life. Like, where's a sad look for you, Commey? But
we'll say, look, in no way, shape, or form, if everyone thinks I'm this Matchroom Eddie fanboy, I'm not picking Anthony Crolla to dethrone Lomachenko, right? But that doesn't mean
there are people out there, though.
I'm sure, but you know, they're crazy. No, it's just, you know, I think Crolla's going to be game. He's going to come forward with high hands, elbows tucked in, and he's a tough nut. And I don't think people are making out that Crolla's going to Loma is going to put Crolla like in some kind of fucking coma and shit like that. The way people are talking, like, Loma's not hospitalizing people. Do you know what I mean? He's just making them quit before they get there. But I don't know. I think Crolla's going to be not a tough fight, as in he's going to be winning a bunch of rounds and it's going to be tight or anything like that. But he's going to be sort of a fairly tough nut to crack and present a little bit of, you know, it's not going to be as easy a night for Loma as everyone's making out. He potentially toys with Crolla quite a bit, but I don't know. Crolla's a tough nut, but shout out to him. Go and make a ton of money. You know, near the end of your career, you've been a world champion, and go and make that money. So, fair play.
Quickly, I just want to address the chat once and just leave it at that, because now I'm being pegged as some like Matchroom fanboy, which is just really fucking weird. Because it's not 24 hours after I had received hate mail from the UK. Tony saying, I followed the hipster on Twitter where his disclosure, he disclosed his disdain for PBC and Top Rank fanboys. Tony, literally look at that tweet and tell me where Top Rank is named on it. You fucking liar. Stop lying. Stop. Clearly in that tweet, I say, verbatim, I don't know which fan base is worse, PBC fanboys or Matchroom fanboys. They're both insufferable. So again, you fucking weirdos in the chat, relax, keep your narrative straight, and figure out which fanboy am I of, which fan base am I. Because y'all keep switching sides, and it's really annoying to get hate mail from both sides every day. Come on. Read a book sometime. Go back to school. Get a therapist. God fucking sake.
Are you getting actual mail, or did you?
I have received emails. Like, emails are the new mail, right? Like, let's be honest.
I just thought you got like a bag.
No, can you imagine? That'd be great. That'd be funny. But no, like I've received dozens of emails of people saying like I'm a Matchroom hater. Right? I hate Eddie. I'm a PBC fanboy. And now today I'm a PBC hater and I'm a Matchroom fanboy. You guys are weird, man. You guys are weird. You know, keep your narrative straight. crazy. But anyways, digressing. Jesse Vargas and Kell Brook, a fight that was talked about, maybe a few weeks ago, I want to say, right?
Yeah, there was interest shown up, and and now apparently Jesse Vargas has accepted his side of it, right?
Yes, Jesse Vargas and I've already accepted terms, waiting on Kell Brook. This was yesterday, I believe. I said it, I think, earlier when this rumor first started a couple weeks ago. This fight makes a lot of sense for both parties. I like that this fight is sort of getting made like that. Kell Brook's coming back to 147. I think it's the better division for him, especially if he can make it in a healthy manner. Because 154, I just feel like he's undersized in that division. I think at 147, he can still be somewhat competitive at the top. Like, for example, this fight, I think it's a very winnable fight for Kell Brook at this point in his career. But this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be interesting to see where it's also placed, whether it's in the U.S. I know the terms that Jesse Vargas has accepted is for a U.S. fight. I don't know if Kell Brook would want to accept that at the end of the day, even though he has fought in the U.S. before. But we do know, as of recent, Rob, that we've been talking about this, Eddie and Fugatti brought this up on the other show. Eddie's going to have to sort of push his UK talent, because those are his biggest names, just to be honest, to the U.S. to build up Matchroom USA in some capacity. Kell Brook is one of those names that I think is going to have to sort of take some U.S. fights to help build up Matchroom USA, and Eddie's going to have to sort of negotiate that with him, in my opinion. Same with AJ. I just think that that's a necessity for Matchroom at this point. But Rob, I like this fight. Main eventing DAZN, U.S. in April. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I like this fight. I think, like you said, it kind of makes some kind of sense for both Vargas and Brook. I've seen straight away some people tweeted, another draw, like Vargas and stuff. But yeah, I think obviously if Vargas was to come away with a win, although it's not peak or prime Brook, that's like a good scalp. It's looks good on the resume, and it, I guess, propels him forward into something bigger again. And Brook takes this. It's, like you say, at 147, is providing he does it healthy, and he can, hopefully puts on a better performance than the last fight. But I like the fight. Part of me thinks this would be, I know it's touted for April, but I like this for the Joshua undercard personally. But I think that would be a good fight on the undercard. But I guess there's only so much money to go around per card. But I like the fight. So hopefully Brook takes that route and forgets that he's Jared Hurd's mandatory and things like that for now.
That would be the death of Kell Brook.
Not
literally. Relax, Rob. I know you UK fanboys, they get all defensive. It's okay. Relax. Jared Hurd would absolutely destroy Kell Brook in the ring. I think everyone can agree to that. If you don't, you got some biases. I think you need to check. Not you, Rob, in general. But yeah, I think we're in agreement here. This fight makes a lot of sense for a variety of reasons, and I think will be a competitive fight at this point. Jesse Vargas has looked a little bit lackluster, to put it lightly, in his recent showings against Adrian Broner, Thomas Delorme. He hasn't looked good. And same, Kell Brook, even in winning affairs, has not looked has not looked like he's back to his true form. So this would be a fight to determine sort of who gets another big fight in the division and who sort of takes a massive step back, in my opinion. But moving on, again, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you're international, add Mixed Combat Radio on Skype. Let's quickly talk about this whole WBA situation. And the lead-in, obviously, we're going to just briefly mention the Gervonta Davis purse for his fight. He's going to make $1 million. Hugo Ruiz making $100K. That's not too laughable, Rob, honestly.
But I don't know. It's like
a short notice, yeah.
Yeah, but, not much of a thank you for stepping in at short notice, is it?
Well, let's be honest. If he wasn't fighting Gervonta Davis, how much would he be making?
Yeah, true.
He wouldn't even be making $25,000. So it is a big step up, and I feel like $100,000 $100,000 in any world is a decent paycheck. If you got $100,000 in for one night's of work, Rob, you'd be very happy. Let's be honest. I would too.
What am I not getting that tonight for this show? Am I?
You didn't get the memo? Shit. Digressing.
I'm tuning in. Hit that thumbs up. I'll catch you in the next one.
I want to briefly mention this whole WBA situation. 'Cause I think it's just, again, great article by Keith Idek. Go check it out. You know, the WBA scam that basically is what's happening this weekend. In the same night, within driving distance of each other, we have the WBA super champion at super featherweight and the WBA regular champion at super featherweight fighting. And therefore, the sanctioning body is going to collect 4 different paychecks from 4 different fighters for 4 different sanctioning fees. When really it should be one title fight. It should be Davis versus Machado. And that should be it. We shouldn't have a super and a regular, but it's clearly a money scam for the WBA to collect more of a paycheck. And this is probably just the most brazen case of it, where it's the only thing that could get more brazen than this, right, Rob, is if you had the WBA regular champ fighting on the same card as the WBA super champion, right?
Yeah,
like that's the only way, because this is a 2-hour drive apart from each other. Like in theory, if these fights were staggered, I could drive from one to the other and see them both, right? Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think it was on Thursday, it was announced, and countering the initial reports that Canelo was stripped or he vacated his WBA belt. WBA has now come back and saying, hold up, Canelo, please take the belt back, as they're going to allow him to hold both WBA belts in this new order. Why? To collect another paycheck. Chris Mannix came out, and I think he had a really good point that any sort of like outrage doesn't really work against the WBA because that's not going to fix it. What is going to fix it is a boycott. Is the fighters specifically boycotting the WBA belts. It would take fighters vacating the belts right now. It would take fighters not fighting under that sanctioning body anymore, not paying them sanctioning fees. It would literally take a boycott of the WBA for them to change their policy, the culture there. And to be honest, like that almost needs to be done for every sanctioning body. Like that argument could sort of be transmitted to just the sanctioning body relationship with fighters, period. Do I think that's a great path for it to happen? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Unfortunately. I think we're going to continue to get this case. I know Gilberto Mendoza, the president of the WBA, his term is up, I think, this year. So they're going to vote in a new president. Does that mean anything's going to change? No, I'm not going to be optimistic here. I'll be completely honest, because what real system is there to elect somebody that's a reformer? You know, that's progressive in how they view sanctioning bodies. I don't see any apparatus for that. I don't know who are the nominees. I don't know who are up for the presidency of the WBA. I don't know how we can vet them. You know, like there's no apparatus for that. It just
probably going to be some nepotism
involved. Oh, of course. Like if it's not, it's a guy that's been there for 20, 30 years, guaranteed. Like it's not going to be somebody. It's not going to be an outsider. It's not going to be a reformer. It's not going to be any of those things.
Family member, probably.
I mean, we have this similar situation happening with WADA right now in the IOC, and how they're trying to elect a new sort of president, and they're having massive infighting because the reformers are getting pushed out, and the status quo nepotism people that have been there for 40 years, they are still grabbing control. Why? Because there's no apparatus to check those people in power. Why? Because it's just a corporation. And corporations have a much more of a autonomous state than you probably think when it comes to laws and such. So it's just a crazy situation here. Again, shout out to Keith Idek for reporting on it. I think it should be reported on more because it's going to take outrage to then push fighters to boycott. It's just a process here, man. And I don't know if it's a process that's going to get completed, but it's at least one that should be pushed towards in any way. We saw Canelo only, 2 years ago, a year ago, basically tell the WBC to go fuck themselves. because of how they treated him. Imagine if he had that sort of demeanor with all the sanctioning bodies. Imagine if a guy of Canelo's clout, a guy of AJ's clout, a guy of Mayweather's clout, if they took that principle stance, things would get changed, but that's not happening anytime soon. Rob, any thoughts on this? I just really wanted to briefly touch on this because I think it has some substance. I think people should be thinking about it. There's not much that really can be solved, or there's not a lot of resolutions on the table, but again, it's just a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, like you explained the situation. The only way it could be worse is if, like you say, co-main event, the regular bout, and then a main event, the full super bout. But yeah, I mean, the stuff we put up with as fans of this sport, we deserve some kind of trophy or or something, because all this. The fans don't particularly care about the regular bout, so why do these sort of fighters fight for it? And
we like Machado, like not to say like we don't like Machado or anything like that, or other WBA regular champions in the past. Like Triple G was once a WBA regular champion. I've often said this: the belts don't make the fighter. Often the fighter makes the belt. The fighter really is the one that adds the value to the sanctioned body and the belt they hold. It's not the other way around anymore. It just isn't. Especially in boxing.
Yeah, so it's disgusting really that the WBA, like you say, getting 4 sort of streams of revenue out of one division or
WBA.
Yeah, so yeah, it's
but then you have WBO Intercontinental belts, WBO,
sure,
WBC silver champions. All these other sanctioning bodies do it. They just don't call it super regular and interim champion. They don't have that formatted way of doing it. WBA is just very blatant about it, more so in my opinion. Though WBC had the money belt, they had a bunch of shit. So again, this is just a sanctioning body issue overall, not just a WBA issue.
Right. Yeah, it's so all a big mess. We just want, at the end of the day, fans just want to see, big fights, have good fights and stuff like that. But all this other stuff, he's claiming to be a champion. He's claiming to be a champion. This guy's a champion. At the end of the day, we just want, someone to be on the, the top of the pile as the champion of, that division. God help us if the IBO ever catches some kind of steam and it becomes another proper player in the division. But
and honestly, any media personality that gives the IBO credence is doing a massive disservice to the sport, and that's honestly just a downright despicable move. Like, you're adding more corruption to the sport. How dare you? But anyways, digressing from that.
Yeah, let's move on.
A little bit of a happier topic, or actually not really happier. No, I'm going to take a happier stance with this.
Very quick, actually. Did you want me to? Dan Rayfield's just posted the purses for the Machado.
Sure.
Did you want to know? Machado's getting 200 grand. Andrew Cancino 75,000. Ray Vargas 75,000. Franklin Manzilla 20,000. Joseph Diaz Jr. 70,000. Charles Huerta 40,000. And yeah. So
pretty mundane. It's a Fantasy Springs card, not surprising.
Yeah.
None of those guys are really, big names, any, sort of casual sense, of just the God honest truth. But moving to a little bit of a happier subject, in my opinion. Not that the purses were that you just mentioned. I'm talking about the WBA scam. Yeah. Max Kellerman had a new boxing show on ESPN that sort of unofficially kicked off Dan Rayfield's boxing show. Just saying. But Max Kellerman came out and did a sort of segment on all of the boxing budgets. I have not seen this segment. I have not watched the show yet. I'm going to add those just stipulations just for everyone to understand. But what I have seen is obviously the screenshots of all the budgets he has thrown out there. And shout out to John Nash of Bloody Elbow. And if you're not following John Nash, you should. One of the, I think, premier guys when it comes to understanding the business side of combat sports. Sort of gave a really succinct breakdown of those budgets. DAZN, $200 million plus per year match from Golden Boy World Boxing Super Series. ESPN, $90 million with Top Rank, obviously. Showtime and Fox, $100 million combined. PBC promoters. And just for a little bit of context and perspective, the UFC deal on ESPN is $300 million per year. Not to sort of, say like, oh, UFC is better than boxing, but I'm just saying, like, just for perspective on the size of these budgets, that's what we're talking about in combat sports. But just overall, I want to make it very clear for people, like, there's no need to fight over whose budget's bigger. Like, size doesn't really matter in this case, guys. Relax. The fact is that not only, 3 years ago, like, I forget exactly when Top Rank moved to ESPN. I think it was 2 to 3 years ago, when it was just Showtime and HBO in the boxing landscape. Their annual budgets combined did not amount for one of those. Did not amount for the Top Rank budget right now on ESPN, let alone PBC on Showtime and Fox, let alone DAZN and their $200 million plus budget plus Canelo. Again, I think fanboys of those respective entities will try to make arguments based off of that. But I will say this. This is just great for the sport. Like, the amount of money that is now in boxing is just enormous. It's so exponentially bigger than what it previously was that I don't know if we have an analog to it where an entire sports television budget goes from around 60, 70 million combined per year to 300, 400, 500 million per year. That percentage growth from just year to year is insane. There's really no comparison. Maybe the UFC, but even that I don't think is even an apt comparison. This is ginormous again for the sport. Now, on top of that, to sort of add a more of a pessimist aspect to the story, or just talking point narrative we can take from it, it's also in the same time frame where we have Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, Amir Khan, all on pay-per-view. Why is that? We have the hundreds of millions of dollars in your guys' budget, and we're still getting pay-per-view fights, and not even still getting, we're getting more pay-per-view fights overall. I don't like that. That makes little to no sense, and I think now that we have more of these numbers, I think media should start asking the questions to these promoters and to these network execs. Why is there this push back to pay-per-view when you are getting exponentially more per year from these TV network deals than you ever did before? I think there is some valid sort of concern there. But overall, again, great for the sport. The amount of money in it is something we have not seen ever. Just absolutely insane stuff there. Rob, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to say boxing is dead, not in the eyes of the people that are paying to put it on TV, this is, there's some of the numbers I wasn't so sure. I know when like DAZN done the deal, it was rumored to be like 125, but obviously since then that Matchroom budget, you've had DAZN have added Golden Boy, they've added other content, so that budget has grown. But
well, I mean, the Canelo deal alone, 2 fights a year, that's going to be $80+ million at least, that just for Canelo. So the budgets are just massive. But
it's just that amount of money. And like you said, I think the first time when I caught this tweet and saw the numbers, someone's first reply was, so I think they even at Top Rank, they tagged them and said, so Crawford Khan pay-per-view, what talk me through it. Why is that happening? People straight away cottoned onto it. So like you said, something, whether it's the media and
fan outrage, something, there should be some outrage that, hey, you guys have this much in your coffers, but we're getting more pay-per-views. Like, it's 1 + 1 = 5 right now. Like, the math is completely off.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what, say, like Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia are being guaranteed for that fight, but that's a big chunk of the budget gone on one fight when they want to put on X amount of other cards throughout the year. So I guess they want to try and recoup some
Well,
of
yeah,
that.
that's the argument for pay-per-view. Period. Is Eddie Hearn will make that argument. Bob Arum's gonna make that argument that look, like these certain fights, the financial situation around them, the TV deals won't suffice for that. We're gonna run out of our budget. I get that, but Spence, Mikey, really? Like, you guys are giving them that much money over the market value that it has to be pay-per-view? Same with Crawford Khan. Like, there seems to be massive inflation in the sport in some aspect. Again, I don't want to make it negative because, again, this is a massive amount of money in the sport, but there seems to be a level of inflation here, which an economist that I am not will probably, better decipher, but the amount of money that all these promoters now have that wasn't there before, the amount of how big these purses are for these fighters going forward, there is some inflation here. Like, it doesn't take an economist to see it. I don't know if that's a danger. I don't know if that's a concern moving forward. I don't know if it's, again, what the negative or positive ramifications are of inflation up to this degree, but it does seem like there is some in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the fans, take a stand and don't buy a pay-per-view, but it always just seems that the certain amount of people do, and it's broken even, or so, it's paid for the event basically, and they're happy. So as long as it keeps breaking even, it doesn't have to make big profits, but if it's replenishing what's going out via a pay-per-view, then everything's good. That budget's still intact, kind of. They can do the other cards and chip away with the smaller money for these smaller fights and keep replenishing nothing's sort of going out as far as these big fights. And so the more people pay for them, the more they're going to do them. And it's a shame because obviously for you guys it's $75. It's not, we're here with our £25 or £20, so like $25. It's not, massive hurting the pockets kind of thing. Out of my monthly salary, the odd £20 isn't, making me like get angry as such. Sometimes you think, is the fight really worth? Shall I get it? But that's down to the individual. But I mean, this isn't PBC hate before the chat fires up and goes crazy, but you've virtually had one a month. December, January, I think we're missing one this month, and then it's February. And then you've got
again,
April.
If you add, like, if you're me, who's an MMA fan, UFC pay-per-views, like, luckily we had the main event canceled on this pay-per-view tonight for the UFC card, so it definitely made me, like, positive that I'm not going to buy it, and I'll just stream it. Air quote, stream it, allegedly. Relax, YouTube. Relax, copyright police. It's okay. Or piracy police. Relax.
You and your jokes.
It's a joke. Haha. But I mean, I forget what the number was because this always happens. This always happens, right? Somebody like a Mike Bond comes out and crunches the numbers. And hey, if you're a hardcore combat sports fan and you buy all subscriptions, all pay-per-views that you need to watch all the fights, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to be a combat sports fan, and a hardcore one. Like it, again, I think at some point we have to start picking and choosing what we pay for and what we don't, and hopefully the market sort of figures out and course corrects what can be pay-per-view and what can't. Crawford Postal bombed, and there's a reason that Crawford wasn't on pay-per-view until now. Why is he doing it now? Because his numbers right now are looking fantastic. He's doing above NBA average on ESPN. There's a reason why they're risking pay-per-view at this point when they didn't post Postal. And on top of that, like you said, Rob, breaking even is looked at, I think, by fans as like, oh, they only broke even.
They failed.
And I think for these corporations, they don't look at it that way. They look at, as you pointed out, look, you break even, you paid for all the fighters, paid for all the production, all the marketing. It's all self-paid for, and you still keep your budget intact. I think that's sort of the mindset they have. Break even, good. Everyone got paid still, and we still have our budget for the network. I don't think it's Steven Espinoza or Al Heyman or Eddie Hearn or Bob Arum are really concerned about their pay-per-view only breaking even. If it doesn't break even, if it goes under, obviously there's concern there. But if it breaks even, I don't think they're going to be worried in any sort of way. I think fans are much more worried about that than obviously fighters and or promoters and networks.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, I think anything above breaking even is obviously a plus and yay. But I think as long as they hit that, someone crunches all the numbers, right? We need to sell, I don't know, 422,000 or whatever for whatever fight, and they hit that, bang, we're good. Fighters paid, everything done. On to the next one. Let's look for the next one that could do some decent numbers and make a good fight. Or it's just a shame that it seems to be being attached. Like you got Errol Spence, who I believe, is he going to be a pay-per-view star? I don't know about off the back of this fight. Potentially that division could have a pay-per-view star come out of it, but we're talking about Mikey Garcia, pound for pound fighter maybe, but moving up to 147, and you've got the so-called boogeyman / killer of the division. People aren't giving Mikey much of a chance, right? So you're being charged this pay-per-view money for a fight that a lot of people seem to think they already definitely know the outcome of.
Most of these pay-per-views have been that way.
Yeah, I mean, look,
honestly, and even though like Wilder Fury turned out to be very different, like even put that one in sort of that bracket. Like we thought all these pay-per-views, and we still sort of think the rest of them are relatively easy to pick. Turned out Wilder Fury wasn't, but Pacquiao Broner, we were absolutely right about that one. I think Spence Garcia, we're going to be right about that. We're going to be right about Crawford Khan. Like these don't seem to be the fights at pay-per-view. Like if Bob Arum and Heyman wanted to make Spence Crawford a year down the line pay-per-view, I'm not going to be mad about that. Honestly, like that makes sense. AJ Wilder pay-per-view, take my money, right? Yeah. Loma Mikey, take my money. But if you start making these fights that are obviously really not pay-per-view worthy, but yet both names on the main event, regardless of it being a competitive fight, just their name value alone requires the financial situation of the matchup to be pay-per-view, I think you're sort of putting the cart before the horse in a way. Like you're not, you're missing the forest for the trees in a way. You need the 50-50 matchup first before you have the two big names, before you have the storylines. In my way, to make that mega fight. I
mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think a lot of Joshua's fights have been pay-per-view, but it's the same thing you were just saying. Like being Joshua, it demands a certain amount of money coming in to pay him, and every fight's going to be pay-per-view. But like I said again, to me, £20 isn't that big of a splash into my monthly salary or anything like that. So I kind of not so bad on that, but to me, like, I mean, maybe salaries are completely different over there, and 75 isn't as big a deal as I thought. But for me, if it was £75 per pay-per-view here, damn, I wouldn't be getting many of them, over the year. I really would be more selective about what I get, and it'll be interesting going forward what Wilder Fury 2 numbers are, because I really feel we're almost peaking now at where people are streaming fights and getting. I've never seen so many times people saying on social media, anyone got the link? Anyone got a link? Anyone? It's gone crazy, and I think whether the networks are picking up on that, but I really do feel at some point the numbers have got to come down in America regarding the price point. But as long as they're just about breaking even or whatever, I can't see it. I can't see them reducing the prices. But it'd be good if ESPN, off the back of all of this, look at it and go, $40. We'll charge you all $40. But it's not going to happen. So, but yeah, I mean, so much money in the sport, but I don't know. There's other little side notes to it that make you think, well, hang on, you got all this money.
Well, it wasn't that long ago we got like Thurman, Danny Garcia, like that was on CBS. Like that's recent memory. That was only 2 years ago, guys. Like now we have Spence versus Mikey pay-per-view. Like there is a difference here. On top of that, Now PBC is getting over $100 million in their budget per year. Like, it just doesn't add up, man. It's just weird. It's rather unfortunate. But anyways, digressing, because again, all pay-per-views are just a hindrance to the consumer. And I think pay-per-views need to die. Period.
By the way,
Period.
You need to trademark your digressing.
I
believe Max Kellerman said it on his show.
Yeah, it's funny. Shout out to Dennis, longtime Patreon supporter from Florida. Dennis put it on Twitter, like, hey, Max can't use digressing. That's clearly a Matt trademark from Mixed Combat. And he even threw out, like, because you know how Dennis is like a day one guy. He threw out the Mixed Combat News. That's a throwback, man. Only like real day oneers remember Mixed Combat News. But anyways, digressing.
Yeah, but look, some are going to remember MCR Net.
Oh, that is true, man. MCR Net. I can't wait till we get rid of this shit. Oh, my God. You have no idea. No idea. But last topic of the day, then we're going to go to callers again, 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. Santiago, please press 1 to get in the queue just because there are other people that have called in. So I want to make sure that I can go to you and if you are available. But last topic of the day, guys, we've been waiting for this one for a very long time. The return of the GOAT, TBE himself, Marcos fucking Maidana. Yes, said he's planning a return with PBC. Now, look, I am skeptical of this even happening because Maidana looks like he ate Tyson Fury. But
he ate the old Tyson Fury.
He ate the old. Now we know where the fat went from Tyson Fury. Maidana just ate all that shit up, man. But honestly, I think Maidana, if he does come back and if he is healthy, I'm excited because Maidana is an all-action guy. I think he had a great sort of late stage in his career. And plus, welterweight, I think, could use some more names, honestly. It's not like welterweight is deep with talent. It has a deep top 15. Like, welterweight has a really good top 8, top 7. After that, it gets a little bit but if Maidana comes back, that'd be cool. And again, with the caveat of he's healthy, he's in shape, etc. If he's not, I really hope he doesn't come back. Go keep smoking cigars and living out your life, doing whatever you want, champ. Rob, your thoughts on TBE coming back?
Yeah. Again, reservations,
Yeah, we don't think it's happening, right? Like,
maybe not at 147. Maybe a gradual. He could come back at light heavy and next fight super middleweight. Work his way down. But I mean, what is he? 34, 35 now?
35.
Yeah, so
hey, he's only 35 years old, man.
Yeah, it said that, didn't it?
Oliver fucking McCall is 52 years old and is a top 53 and is a top 16 heavyweight in the U.S.
Yes.
Stop hating, man. Marcos Maidana can come back and be a champ. Let's be honest. He has 20 years left in the tank.
You think? See in the chat, potential lunatic. Maidana Broner rematch.
Oh my god. I would watch that so much. You have no idea.
Would you, if, from my understanding, you'd be paying $75 for it?
No. That's not. No.
Let's not do that.
No. If that happens, I'm gonna have some issues with that. But I would love that. Like, if Maidana comes back, he takes all the weight off, and he wants to make a Broner rematch, go for it. Like, I think a lot of people want to see that. Let's be honest. Because on top of that, Maidana off the huge layoff, off the weight cut. Broner is back, man. They have the narrative. They have the context for the fight. It's a fight that people want to see again. I'm telling you, the Broner fanboys will be out there in full force saying that he's back. He's going to take out Maidana. And there might be some credence to it. But beside that, that's a very astute matchmaking there, potential lunatic. I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hood would, be back.
Oh, they would. Yes,
they'd be represented by AB.
And Maidana has like the Hispanic Hood because he's been shot, he's been in prison. Like,
Oh yeah.
That first fight is still like, of the last 10 or so years, that's one of the better fights for a lot of reasons. That's one of the better ones.
I'll never get Broner walking back to the or being guided. But I mean, if Maidana wants to come back, go and do it, man. Live
your life.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sign me up.
Let's go to callers. Let's go out to Gary in Dallas. Gary, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Marcos Maidana. Really, Matt? Do you think he could ever be a top 50 welterweight again? Do you think he could ever get on the level of Jose Lopez? Have you seen the guy?
No. Of course not. Of course not. No. I added the caveats of if he comes back healthy and in shape. Those are big ifs.
Yeah. It's looking like Tony Soprano or something. The guy's wow, I totally lost my train of thought. I was not expecting a Marcos Maidana announcement.
Hey, this is boxing, man.
You said he signed with. You said he signed with PBC.
I know he's a Heyman guy. I know he's always been a Heyman guy, but the title just says he'll go back to PBC if he comes back.
Okay. Then the heavyweights. That's a lot of money for Big Baby. They really wanted him, huh? I mean, they really, really wanted him. I like the fight, and I know that Big Baby Miller, you would say, well, what has he done to deserve the fight? The answer is obviously nothing. But it's going to be such a good fight. Like, I'm picking Joshua, but Miller is 315 pounds. Like, how do you knock out a bear? And if you can't knock him out, how do you deal with his work rate in the later rounds? You know what I'm saying? If you don't get him out, he's going to keep coming after you. So, again, I skill-wise, Big Baby's in the tier of trash heavyweights for sure. But his natural size is going to be a massive problem for anybody.
He's America's number 2 heavyweight.
I probably agree with that.
There are only other good heavyweights. Yeah. Who's number 3 on that list?
It was Dominic Brazil.
Out of curiosity. Boy. That's a problem.
When I read them out, Matt said it took a real dip when I hit number 11, Joey Abel.
No. Abel wasn't 11, was he?
It was something. It was just after.
Abel was like 7, bro. Abel was like 7. I feel like.
No. It went Washington 11, and then it went Joey Abel, and you were like, "Whoa!" That took a big dip all of a sudden. But for Gary, it hit Brazil at number 3. It took a big fucking dip.
They don't have Konaki as an American.
No, they haven't. They have him as Polish. They have him as Polish, I think.
No, yeah, he's down as Polish.
Unless Rob wants to check that up again before we give out fake news.
He's down as Polish on BoxRec.
So, Rob, how do you see that? First of all, do you like the fight? I mean, obviously, Dillian White deserved the fight, but do you like the fight?
Yeah, I like the Miller fight. I think it's a good introduction for AJ. The more I've thought about it, the more I've liked it. In the beginning, I was, waving the flag for Dillian. He deserves his shot, but he doesn't want his shot by the looks of it. So, but the more I've thought about it, I like the Miller fight. It's going to be interesting for such a big guy. He's got a hell of a work rate, and I think, if Joshua lands something pretty big on him and he just keeps coming forward, that's a whole different problem for Joshua to try and figure out. But I think he can. I think he'll come through it. I've not really got any, worries as such going into the fight as far as being a Joshua fan. But I don't think it's an easy fight. That something. But if Joshua can go and make some kind of emphatic sort of statement, and I think that would look pretty impressive with Big Baby Miller laid on the floor, right? So such a big guy. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting fight, so I'm looking forward to it now.
And do either of you see a scenario in which Big Baby Miller could win the fight?
No.
It would. It's not probable. It's a 3% possibility.
I think for such a big guy, I don't think he hits too hard.
That's the issue. If Miller hit harder, I think it would be a different fight. But Miller he's a punches by bunches guy. Kill you by 1,000 cuts.
You guys do realize have you ever been hit by a 300-pounder?
Well, again, just look at his resume. Like, he usually has late finishes.
I understand he's got more late knockouts, and he doesn't look to set up one punch. That being said, he's a 315-pounder. I'm pretty sure he's got the power to knock anybody out. He's 315 pounds.
But his wait, Gary, you were saying he is 300 pounds. I bet he has the power to knock out anyone. And I'm telling you, look at his resume. Look at the empirical evidence. He is not a one-hitter guy. He's a guy that throws in volume because he doesn't have one-punch knockout power. You are saying look at his weight. I am saying look at the evidence. Which one's right here?
No, that's not. Because you don't get a one-punch knockout doesn't mean you don't have one knockout punch power. It means that's not the way you fight. Right? Like Floyd Mayweather didn't score a knockout for like the last how many years of his career? Does that mean he's feather-fisted? No, that's not what
Gary, those things are mutually exclusive, Gary. I'm not saying that Big Baby's feather-fisted and has no power. I'm saying he doesn't have enough power to knock out AJ. I'm saying he doesn't have enough power to knock out AJ with one shot, which is clear. The empirical evidence shows that.
I'm saying any world-class athlete who weighs 315 pounds can knock you out with one shot. If he hits you right. That's what I'm saying.
Cool, Gary, but Miller doesn't. So you can keep saying that, but you're wrong.
Okay, well, only one thing can tell if I'm wrong, and that's when the fight
That's
happens,
his resume.
Right?
No, Gary. It's not one thing that can tell that's wrong. You're already wrong. Look at his fucking resume. You already agreed with me. Hold on, Gary, hold on. You already agreed with me that he gets late fight finishes. And you're going to come on here and say he has one-punch knockout power? Stop, Gary. Stop.
Yeah.
You already countered your own point. You already conceded to mine.
Not at all.
Not at all?
No.
Then take back what you said. Take back what you said and say that he doesn't have late fight finishes. And then let's look at his resume and let's look at what it shows.
You said that he doesn't have enough power to knock Joshua out. I don't agree with that statement. I simply don't agree with that statement.
And then I added to that statement. Hold on, Gary. Then I added to that statement saying he doesn't have one-punch knockout power on AJ. He's not going to knock out AJ with one punch. It's going to take 1,000 shots for him to knock out AJ. And do I think he's going to land 1,000 shots on AJ? No, I think AJ is too good of a boxer. And then you're coming back and saying, no, he has one-punch knockout power, which he clearly doesn't. His resume shows the exact opposite of that.
Just because you don't land the one shot doesn't mean you don't have it.
No, Gary, he's landed clean shots on top competition and hasn't put them out. What are you talking about, fam? What are you talking about?
Does Marcos Maidana have one punch knockout power?
Gary, we're talking about Big Baby.
Yeah, no, I understand.
No, Gary, we're talking about Big Baby. Does Big Baby? Hold on, Gary, we're not talking about Marcos Maidana. That's a different person, different power. Hold on, Gary. We're not. No, Gary. Gary, Marcos Maidana is a shitty argument to use here for several reasons. One, he's not a heavyweight. He's not 312 pounds, which is your entire fucking argument, is that 300-plus pound people can knock out anyone with one shot, and yet Big Baby doesn't. We're talking about Big Baby. Why are you using somebody else's power or resume to excuse your shitty argument?
Very quick. I think Marcos Maidana is 315 pounds.
We started the conversation with Marcos Maidana. I'm asking you a different question.
Okay.
Does Marcos Maidana have one punch power?
No, that's not a different question, Gary. You're trying to connect it to Big Baby.
No, I'm not trying to. Just any preconceived notion you may have is incorrect. So just get rid of it. And I'm asking you a separate question.
Okay.
Does Marcos Maidana have one punch power?
No, I would say no.
Marcos Maidana doesn't have one punch power.
His resume clearly shows. His resume clearly shows at the top that he doesn't knock out people with one punch.
That is fascinating. I mean, that is really fascinating. Okay, Marcos Maidana doesn't have one. Who does? Give me a fighter that has one punch power in recent history.
Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder. Besides Wilder. And Wilder couldn't knock
Adonis
him out in the
Stevenson.
first fight, so he also
Inoue is another good one.
Okay.
Inoue is another really good one.
Thank you.
There you go. Look at
Okay,
hipster
so
Rob
you
there,
said-
man,
you
with the
said-
deep cut.
You said Stevenson first. You said Stevenson first, right? That was the first one you said?
Yes.
He didn't knock out Badu Jack, but hit him clean several times in the first 3 rounds. So he also does not have one-punch power, by your logic. So let's say that Stevenson doesn't have one-punch power.
Again, Gary. I'm looking at the whole. No, it's not, Gary. It's not my argument. You are using one fight for an entire person's career to indicate that he's not a one-punch knockout guy. I'm saying look at Jarrell Miller's entire... Hold on, Gary. Let me finish my fucking point. My show. Okay? You are saying that... I'm sorry. I am saying that Big Baby's entire career, you look at the whole of it, it clearly shows not one-punch knockout power. That is what I'm saying. You are trying to say one fight with Adonis Stevenson shows he doesn't have knockout power. I'm saying the whole of Big Baby's career shows that. So again, next argument. Or next topic, because this is getting boring here.
Did he knock Vasiliy out with one
No,
shot?
Vasiliy beat him. Vasiliy beat him.
Okay, so he didn't knock Vasiliy out. He didn't knock Badu Jack out. So now we're going back years and years and years.
So wait, hold on. No. Gary, we're done here. We're done here. We're moving on. I'm moving on to a different caller. Because now your argument is, hey, look, if you haven't knocked out every single opponent with one-punch knockout power, then you don't have one-punch knockout power. Because Adonis Stevenson lost a fight, he doesn't have one-punch knockout power? Really? Really? That's your fucking argument. That is a bullshit argument, Gary, and you know it. You know it. That's why I'm just moving on. Because that was such a shit-ass argument. God damn. Just annoying. It's annoying. God. Imagine conceding a point, Rob. Imagine saying like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then for the next 15 minutes arguing that you didn't say, yeah, you're right. Actually, I'm right. Come on.
I do that in the mirror sometimes.
I do. Moving on. Santiago in LA. How you doing?
Doing good, dude. Goddamn. It reminds me of those days when people would tell people to just move on, and glad you did. I'm just gonna stick to the topic, so I'm not gonna go into that. Happy to see that there is some kind of confirmation for Joshua and Miller, and look forward to the press conference. Two very different but intriguing personalities, one calm and collected, one pretty out there and very charismatic. Look forward to seeing him finally, knowing that there is going to be something, because, for the longest, the only thing we knew was April 20th. That was about all we did know. Now we have something more to add to that, so that's nice. Maidana coming back. I don't know how to feel about that, just because, he looked pretty content and happy with his life after the two Mayweather fights with all the money that he did make for himself. If he does come back, kudos to him. Enjoy it. Alvarado was doing it. Juan Diaz was doing it. If he's just going to do it and, enjoy himself, then so be it, It's what it is what it is at that point. And, damn shame about the Commey fight putting off the Lomachenko fight, but Crolla's not a bad option. I still remember when Anthony Crolla sustained that broken angler and fractured skull and the burglary gone wrong, and he came back to win a world title, get the 2 fights with Jorge Linares, and beating Ricky Burns. So I think he's going to give it as good a fight as he can for as long as the fight lasts. Obviously, I think that Lomachenko's just going to be better and probably work him, but it's going to be a good fight for as long as I think he's got a good chance to make it a good, entertaining fight for as long as it lasts. And boxing budgets. I still remember the time when we talked boxing. We talked, is it HBO or is it Showtime? Back then, there was no talk about is it on Fox? Is it on CBS? Is it on NBC, ESPN, or whatever? It's very nice to see how far we've come in terms of accessibility when it comes to where we can watch our boxing. The pay-per-views, on the other hand, the amount that seems to be staying consistent, if not becoming more, reminds me of the reason why I ended up buying a Tiger Stream in the first place, because like you said, it is a very expensive hobby to have at that point if you want to be a hardcore fan of combat sports at that point. So I don't like it. Obviously, I'm with you in that pay-per-views should basically die at this point because, you know, when it comes to like the pay-per-views that do become accessible in the theaters, I have more incentive to go pay $25 to go watch it at my local theater than pay $75 to watch it at home. You know, so we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely hoping for a good year of fights and looking for quality over anything else because, like, you know, just the myriad of like confusion and issues that we get with the WBA and all these like 3 champions in one division, you know, like it's a tedious process. You know, I write my fight updates and everything, and it's so weird when I have to repeat, you know, for the WBA, whatever class champion of the world twice in one card. Definitely, I think people need to be taking more of a stance with that when it comes to like calling them out on their shit, like Canelo did with the WBC. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but it definitely is something that does need to happen. You know, just like how they're trying to work with the Fighters Union for, you know, mixed martial arts over on that end of the spectrum. That's pretty much all I really do have to say. If you guys have any questions regarding any of the topics or something off topic, feel free to shoot. Otherwise, that's my call. Keep doing the good work that you guys have been doing today.
Santiago, does Big Baby Miller have one punch knockout power?
No, Miller is a volume puncher, you know, just like Maidana was. These are guys that, you know, yeah, they've got power, but they're not people known for decking people in one punch, a la, you know, Canelo Khan or like Breedis Prescott Khan or whatnot. These are guys that made their bones wearing opponents down and getting those late round knockouts.
Agreed. Thank you, Santiago. Yes, a guy that lost to Amir Khan definitely has one punch knockout power. Wonder why he didn't show up in that fight, Gary. All love, Gary. All love. But, man, you were wilding on that one. And the whole chat was in agreement with me. But anyways, Rob, final thoughts time. Wrapping up the show. Gonna be back. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be back later tonight. Haven't really decided in what format. I know like Fugatti's all gung ho now because he has a mic and he wants to do live fight chats for everything. So I'm like Gervonta Davis, Ruiz. It's Machado against some guy. It's the UFC main event just got canceled. I don't know what to really do a live fight chat for. But at the very least, I think I'm gonna do a post fight show, sort of recapping sort of all the night's action. Later tonight, late tonight. So maybe you guys in the UK will wake up and see the show. Everyone here in the US, stay tuned. After the fight, stay obviously hit that notification button on the channel so you guys know when we do go live. Anyways, I'm Matt the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Matt Hunter MCR all platforms. Shout out to AJ Miller. Love the fight. Go get paid. WBA and all sanctioning bodies, you guys are a giant scam. Shout out to Keith Hydek's article pointing that out. What else? Boxing budgets. Come on, promoters, networks. Start making all these fights on your networks. I don't want pay-per-views anymore. You guys got the money. Max Kellerman just showed us you guys got a lot of money. More so than you guys had as an entire sport 3 years ago. So step it up. What else? Jesse Vargas, Kell Brook. Love the fight. Marcos Maidana. Please stay in retirement and keep smoking those cigars. Rather just have you be the best boxing meme ever in existence. Like I said, have a great day. Rob, your final thoughts and where can people find you?
You can find me at UK Rob MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Joshua Miller. I'm looking forward to it. See the announcement. Can't wait for a press conference for that one. See what Big Baby brings to that. Add a bit of spice to it. But Jesse Vargas, Kell Brook. Look forward to that. Anthony Crolla, go and make that bag against what will be the former unified champion in pound for pound former. He's going to be after Crolla, bulldozes in with the high hands and everything. No, I mean, Jacob, but hopefully, like I say, we're looking like fights are going to start getting announced and made, and the schedule is going to pan out a little bit more. I'm just looking forward to getting into some fights. Unfortunately, we're not picking up Gervonta Davis fight tonight on ITV or anything like that. I think probably to do with I think because it's a Mayweather Promotions, not sort of PBC. If you know,
it is
I mean.
PBC.
Well,
it is Mayweather Promotions, but it is still PBC.
Anyway, we're not getting it.
Well, because remember the ITV deal, I think was for their Fox cards, or was it for PBC cards in general?
PBC. We had Broner and Pacquiao. We had, what else have we had?
Yeah, but that's Broner Pacquiao. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that could always be separate. You know what I mean? Like, I want to say the ITV deal was in connection with the Fox deal in some sense. Like, the Fox shows could be shown on ITV. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know it was also like, it was only, I think, like 16 events they're going to show on ITV. Like, it was a limited amount. So I don't think they're going to show everything on ITV, unfortunately.
I mean, I thought I saw it being, but maybe Mahrez pulling out is some kind of like Mahrez select replacement. We'll not bother with that one, maybe. But who knows?
But similar to Matchroom and DAZN, like, or Matchroom UK and DAZN, like, not all Matchroom UK cards are going to be on DAZN. Most of them will be. We know that, but not all. That's been proven. I think the same will be obviously for PBC and vice versa to the UK. That's just, I think, an unfortunate situation of the matter.
Yeah, but you know, you mentioned all the budgets, and so all you networks, let's just put it on your network. Obviously, you're not getting pay-per-views with DAZN, so that's one you don't have to worry about. And then Maidana, if that Mayweather money's ran out, you know, by all means, you know, lose the weight, come back, show us that one-punch knockout power. He's probably got it right now. If he faced a 147.
Oh, yeah, because 300 pounds. 300-pound men obviously just have one-punch knockout power regardless.
How do you stop a bear, you know? Does a big baby shit in the woods? That's the question. Who knows? But, yeah, like I said, UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Thumbs up, you know, great. You know, and don't give Matt such a hard time, all right? I know we had a little fallout the other day. Isn't there a lively debate?
Fallout. Oh, my God. Don't feed the beast, man.
I'm not falling. No, I'm not feeding. I'm trying to tame the beast, you know. Although
there is no taming fanboys, man. They get upset. They get upset regardless.
They were saying, "Oh, this is like, you know, name redacted show," and it's not. All right, it's not.
Just look at them.
If anyone in this situation should know, it's me, and it's not. All right, so. You know, just be nice. Just be nice. You know, sometimes we get a little. Oh yes, he is. Oh no, he isn't. That's fine. It's a pantomime.
Shower Pondem, interesting name, saying, Matt, do you think the toxicity in the boxing community will slow down once Wilder and AJ fight? No, it's always going to be there. It always has been there, and it will continue to always be there. Just welcome to humanity. Rob, any thoughts? I sort of cut you off there as you were telling your warhounds to be at bay.
Yeah, you know, not release the hounds, bring them back in. You know, I'll tell you when you go at him. All right, don't worry about it. It's all good. Let's, you know, by the end of this, I'm gonna make him always agree with me for fear that you guys are gonna go at him. But only joking. Look, it's just a bit of debate sometimes. It's no. You know, he's not like other co-hosts or anything like that. It's all good. But yeah, thumbs up, 5-star review. Check us out on Patreon. I think we had another Patreon member sign up, Matt, I believe.
Yes, and quickly, Mario, I'm saying, any idea of the UFC main event? Because I had mentioned it got canceled. Israel Adesanya, Anderson Silva has been moved up to the main event. It will stay a 3-round fight. For all those I want to know, it will not go to a 5-round fight. There you go. Anyways.
You just messed with my chi.
I'm sorry. I apologize. You know what? It shows that we're just like name redacted, and you know we can't debate, and you know I'm just an asshole. Blah 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 blah. Fucking weirdos.
Get it, boys. No, I'm joking. Alwa's good, but yeah, that. You know, tune in if Matt's doing something later. Obviously, hopefully Chewbacca's on. I mean Jesse.
Andrew
Fugati in the chat. He said he was working, and then he's come straight back in and said, "Feed the trolls, Rob." So someone who's supposedly busy and working. But yeah, hopefully, you know, Matt will have a co-host, and there'll be a real work ethic, wanting to get out there. I think you should do Davis and Ruiz live fight chat.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
Wait.
I do. We'll talk about it after. Anyway, peace. Later.
Peace.